Hi, readers. Today we're going to learn the purpose of the ancient stories. So, myths are a type of fiction, and Aliki, the author of our Gods and Goddesses of Olympus, states in the preface of her book, people believed the myths were true. They worshiped the gods they believed in, and they thought that the gods helped and guided them in their daily lives. Today, we're going to examine more myths and think about their purpose and identify the life mystery that they are trying to explain. Aliki states in her preface also, the storytellers wove in their customs, their beliefs, and their theories about life, death, and the wonders of nature. And one such mystery has to do with Earth's abundant oceans, land, and mountains. Let's reread this about Poseidon, the sea god. It said his temper could be as violent as the seas he ruled. He shook his trident, and leaping waves flooded the land. He struck the earth, and mountains erupted. When he was calm, the rivers dried, and islands formed. So it sounds like Poseidon could be a pretty moody guy. His trident was just as powerful as he was. If he struck the water, the waves would flood the land. And if he struck the earth, there might be an earthquake or a volcanic eruption. This was a mystery that the Greeks used, or this myth was explaining why sometimes the earth would flood or why a mountain might erupt. I think you did that earlier this week in your science class. You've been talking about how those volcanoes formed. And so if there was an earthquake or if there was a volcanic eruption, they would say that Poseidon was angry and that he was trying to punish them for bad deeds. And so then they would try to appease Poseidon and make him happy so that their natural world was calm again. Now let's learn about Hades and the underworld. Do you have any schema about the underworld? I would think that you would tell me that the underworld would be a dark place underground, pretty like caves and, you know, a pretty gloomy place. Let's read about Hades. Hades was as grim and gloomy as the underworld where he lived. He was also rich, for all the treasures in the ground were his. Hades rarely left his dark kingdom of the dead. When Hermes brought the souls of the dead to him, he prodded the unwilling ones into the shadows. He saw that none escaped. Cerberus, his three-headed dog, stood guard at the locked gate. But Hades was lonely and wanted a wife. Zeus said he could have his daughter Persephone, but Zeus knew that she would not want to be parted from her mother, Demeter, to go live in Hades' gloomy kingdom. Nor would Demeter let her daughter go. So Zeus told Hades to kidnap Persephone. Hades rode up into the brilliant sunshine, and this is what he did. Make a prediction. Do you think he's going to get the wife that he wants? Demeter and Persephone were always together. Gentle Demeter loved her daughter and took her wherever she went as she tended the grain fields. But one day their joy vanished. As Persephone was out with friends picking flowers, she disappeared. No one saw what happened, not even Demeter. She did not see Hades charge up in his chariot and snatch the lovely Persephone. She did not see him take her down, down into the dark underworld to make her his queen. She did not hear her scream or cry for her mother. Demeter searched the earth for Persephone. She grew haggard and neglected her fields. At last she heard what had happened. Think about that word haggard. That might be an unknown word to you. So if you're thinking about our context clues lesson from the other day, haggard would mean that she was kind of disheveled, kind of unkept. She wasn't combing her hair and brushing her teeth and washing her face. She was, looking worried. Sometimes that worry will show up on your face with maybe some wrinkles or just tired under your eyes, just a sad face. Furious, she told Zeus that until Persephone returned, she would cause a famine, and she did. The fields grew barren, crops and trees withered, animals and people starved. Zeus saw that Demeter meant her words. So, again, another unfamiliar word might be famine. If you use the context around the sentence, you would know that this is a time where there's not enough food for animals or people because the crops, the plants that we eat, they are not growing. He sent Hermes to fetch Persephone from Hades. But Persephone had been tricked into eating 4 pomegranate seeds, the food of the dead. That meant that she could not leave Hades forever. For 4 months a year, one for every seed, she had to return to the underworld as Hades' queen. Then spring came, and the land turned green, and flowers bloomed. For Demeter and Persephone were together again. So if we're thinking about which one of life's mysteries is explained in this story, I'm hoping you can kind of figure that out, and you can add a private comment to tell me what you think, what mystery you think they're trying to solve. And if you get it right, I will give you the answer back, and I'll reply to your comment. So you give me a comment telling me which one of life's natural mysteries is this trying to explain? Kind of like Poseidon when the trident explained why we had earthquakes. What is this story telling us about? What is that cycle of 4 months a year? It's kind of, the land is kind of bleak. And then when spring comes, the land turns green because Demeter and Persephone are together again. So in the private comments, tell me what you think this story was explaining to the ancient Greeks. And then I'll reply back and tell you if you are correct. And if you're not correct, I will give you the right answer. So, even though myths are made up or fictional, they help us understand how people long ago explained the wonders of life. Understanding these explanations enhances our appreciation of these wondrous tales. By inferring the mystery of life that each Greek myth explains, we can learn more about the customs and beliefs of the people of ancient Greece. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in the Zooms.